What's up, everybody? Tomorrow we get a brand new season of Apex Legends, Season 28, named Breach. And so today the patch notes came out. We're going to go through the patch notes, and as usual, I will link them down below if you want to check them out for yourself. And also link down below is Twitch. Tomorrow night I will be live playing the new season of Apex. And then normally I play Apex or COD or High Guard or new single player games or single player Sunday. That's all live over on Twitch. That's linked down below, as well as my Twitter, my gaming Instagram, TikTok, and single player channel, and my car Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel. If you want to support me here, there, or anywhere, of course, that is definitely appreciated. But let's go ahead, run through these patch notes, see what's coming to Apex Season 28. So first we have Hard Light Mesh. A key entry into the new world, Hard Light. The Apex games are evolving once again, adding new ways for players to move, engage, and fight. Legends will encounter Hard Light across windows and structures scattered throughout the world. Hard Light acts as destructible and breachable windows. While Hard Light meshes are intact, they are translucent, allowing players to see through them, but they block projectiles and player movement. When broken or damaged, Hard Light meshes rebuild after a lengthy delay. Hard Light takes damage from weapon fire and increased damage from specific weapon classes, explosives, melee, and Legends abilities. Break Hard Light to breach into buildings, creating new entries, and find new angles to lay down an assault on opponents. Hard Light can be rebuilt or reinforced by controller legends. Reinforced Hard Light is much stronger than normal Hard Light meshes, taking more damage before breaking, providing controller legends an opportunity to bunker down and delay enemy assaults. So it's not going to be all windows, but you can see from like this building on E District, it's going to be a lot of windows. I think it's interesting. Mix up how Apex plays in 28 seasons. You got to do that eventually. But I know some people aren't happy with this. As somebody who, mostly has played Warzone, I'm all good with windows being breakable. Hard Light details. At match start, Hard Light meshes are automatically spawned in the world at preset positions on various structures. Hard Light mesh defaults to 200 HP. Hard Light takes increased damage from explosives, shotguns, snipers, and legend abilities. Hard Light takes damage from ring. Hard Light cannot repair, rebuild, or be reinforced in ring. Upon reinforcement, Hard Light health is set to 1250. That's nuts. So it's gonna, obviously increase the controller meta. Hard Light cannot be rebuilt immediately after breaking. Rebuild delay 4 seconds. Controller subject to limit on number of reinforced Hard Lights. Max 4 reinforced Hard Lights. So if you had 3 controller legends on your team, you could reinforce 12 Hard Lights. Reinforced Hard Light decays when the older reinforcing player exceeds reinforcement limit. Reinforcement Hard Light decays when there are no players nearby for an extended period of time. And when Reinforced Hard Light decays, it returns to a standard Hard Light mesh state. It decays to baseline health. That was such awkward phrasing with no punctuation. 200 health. We will be monitoring community feedback about Hard Light as the season progresses and making adjustments as necessary. Ranked matchmaking, we are implementing focus changes based on learnings from our previous matchmaking tests. Our previous end-of-season tests that restricted Masters plus Pred players from matching below various diamond ranks have led us to bake in these changes directly into each season. To provide the best possible matchmaking experience, we will be shifting the restrictions dynamically each season as ranked populations naturally shift throughout the duration of the split. The timing of when these restrictions kick in, as well as exactly when diamond ranks can match with Masters, will depend on the population of those players is high enough to sustain good matchmaking. We will continue to provide additional updates throughout the coming seasons as we monitor and adjust. I don't know if it's going to be in here, but there's also the regular dropships returning to ranked, which I personally like. It's caused some controversy on social media and stuff, but I personally like the old dropship back because this isn't AOGS, it's just ranked. Audio updates in Season 28. In response to community feedback, we are taking a step further by adding more audio customization options and giving you control. You can look forward to more granular customization options surrounding legend dialogue, ping dialogue, and announcer dialogue. In Season 27, we added Focus Mix to provide a more robust contextual in-game soundscape. We're excited to continue down this path, providing with even more options to use to customize your experience. In addition to other smaller changes, we've also split enemy and geo bullet impact audio in order to prioritize them independently, ensuring players always know when they've landed a shot. If footstep audio just doesn't occur, then none of this matters, but we'll see. Patch notes, legends. So Fuse is getting changes. His passive is no longer slowed when taking explosive damage, which is interesting. Tactical, faster weapon stow time when switching to tactical. Flatten the trajectory to make tap firing more accurate. Reduce delay before explosions start. increase base damage, and reduce the duration by 50%. So they made it easier to quick aim. They made it easier to stow the weapon and shoot the tactical. They made it activate quicker. They increased how much damage it does, but now it lasts less time. So it's not a complete buff, but more of a rebalance. Ultimate refreshed ultimate behavior. Fires a mortar that explodes against the ground, then sprays out the smaller bombs around its landing point. When aiming down sights, the mortar can pierce up to 13 meters deep and deliver explosives to the other side. If that's through all walls, windows, hard light, Gibby bubbles, lifeline shields. I'm trying to think what else wouldn't destroy it, because like a Newcastle wall destroys it. That's pretty strong. It's interesting that it's no longer a ring of fire, which does take away that passive where those inside of the ring or being damaged by it can be like scanned through walls. So that changes. So that's definitely interesting. Level 2, Pyrotechniques. Your ultimate will drop behind patches of fire for 8 seconds after the bombs explode. Knuckle Jumper. Jumping when next to your own knuckle cluster will give you an explosive boost. Destroys the cluster afterwards. That's an interesting one for those who care about movement abilities. Level 3, Reignition. Dealing explosive damage to enemies recharges your ultimate. For every 2 damage dealt, reduces cooldown by 1 second. That's pretty strong too. Remove Ringmaster, Scar Tissue, and Knuckle Hustler. So Catalyst, her passive, she can now reinforce up to 4 doors. It was just 2. Her tactical, flatten the trajectory, slightly lower the pitch, and increase the overall range. So you can shoot it farther, a little bit farther, aim it better. Increased size by roughly 50%, so her tactical spikes are now 50% bigger. Reduce the delay before spikes can deal damage. Now it's 1 second. Can have 3 traps maximum. It was 2. Activation radius reduced by 20%. This is how close you have to be before the spikes stand up and the core is vulnerable. Ultimate, you can now toggle to deploy the ultimate horizontally. That's awesome. That's been needed for a long time. Length has been increased by 5 meters. The wall can now build up through standard doors. Lifeline's Dock, Halo, and Gibby's Dome of Protection can now be placed on steeper angles. Reduce Dark Veil duration when enemies walk through. So a slight nerf on the Dark Veil duration, but an overall really good buff. Those are good changes for both Fuse and Catalyst so far. Bloodhound, passive enemies outside of 13 meters no longer block White Ravens from spawning. Clues more than 13 meters away no longer block White Ravens. Tactical, total scan duration up to 4 seconds. Full body duration remains half the scan duration. Reduced screen coloration during scan. Fewer clues will pop up on screen when your tactical successfully scans an enemy. Ultimate cooldown reduced to 2.5 minutes was 4. Activation time reduced by about 20%. After activation, the wider FOV gradually shifts back to your normal FOV, unless you have FOV scaling off, which you should. Nox, while your ultimate is active, increases the duration by 5 seconds. Unchanged Nox, while your ultimate is active, reset your tactical duration. This has been active for a while, but is now called out in the ability description. Good changes for Bloodhound. I don't think it necessarily makes Bloodhound much more useful than he was before. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden skyrocket in the meta. But he's definitely better than he was before. Upgrades for Bloodhound. Level 2 Taste of Bloodhound. Regen 50 health when getting a knock while your ultimate is active. That's good. Raven's Flight. When activating your White Ravens, they can ping enemies twice as far as normal. That's decent. Hunters. Level 3 Hunter's Agility. Your tactical is faster to use and has 5 second less cooldown. And Eye of the Allfather removed from level 2 and moved to level 3. Crypto. Prevent power coupling for 5 seconds after EMP. Reduce charge gained from scanning players from 10 to 5. Pathfinder. Feeling Zippy additionally increases allied movement speed on energized zip lines. Feeling Zippy additionally increases allied acceleration on energized zip lines. Octane max duration extension reduced from 6 to 3 seconds. Weapons. New weapon inspects for Eva, Peacekeeper, and Sentinel. Marksman weapons, the G7's going into the care package, which the care package is supposed to be higher on this, but it's lower this time for whatever reason, so we'll talk about it in a second. Added double tap to the G7 in the care package. Decrease or damage increased to 37. Increased rate of fire can be equipped with sniper optics. The sniper optic thing I think might be the best change there. Bowcheck, max damage decreased, max energized damage decrease, increased draw time, 30-30 repeater, decreased base damage, decreased charge damage multiplier, slightly increased charge time. So bow check and 30-30 both nerfed a decent amount. Triple take, reduced rate of fire, slightly increased choke time. Triple take also nerfed. Interesting. Pistol, P20's back to the floor loot, removed kinetic feeder, damage decreased, reduced reload speed, reduced rate of fire, increased in enhanced hip fire spread. Shotguns, with hard light making its grand entrance in Apex games, felt right for the breach and clear weapon class to make their way to the spotlight. Shotguns are getting a little love with some targeted updates and new hop-up additions. So expect a shotgun meta is what they're essentially saying. Mastiff decreased pellets per blast to 5, but damage per pellet was increased to 19, was 16. So some quick math, that's 60 plus, so it's 96 versus 50 plus 95. So did they actually nerf the damage? 6 times 16 is 60 plus 36, so yeah, 96. And then 45, so it actually, the total damage per shot is actually down by 1. But they adjusted the blast pattern, which I assume means this. EVA 8, slightly increased rate of fire, Titan blast pattern. It's interesting, one says adjusted, one says Titan, so who knows what adjusted actually means if it doesn't mean tightened. EVA 8, though, that's a good buff. Locked hop-ups, dual shell, added to the Mastiff and 30-30. Hammer points added to the P20. Ooh, hammer points. Disruptors added to the PK. Gun shield generator removed from the triple take Hemlock and R3, not added to anything. Graffiti mod removed from Volt and Mastiff, added to L-Star and Longbow DMR. Double tap trigger added to the EVA 8. Turbocharger decreased points to unlock on the Devo. Balance updates. P20 to the floor, G7 to the care package, which we kind of already mentioned. Gold weapon rotation is going to be the Sentinel, the Flatline, the PK, the 30-30, and Akimbo P20. Evo changes. Reviving teammates only provides full Evo for the first 2 revives per team. Each subsequent revive will reward 25 less Evo until no Evo is rewarded. Did I even play Split 2? I don't know if I ever played Split 2, now that I'm thinking about it. Anyways, equipment, knockdown shields, removed from loot pool. Knockdown shield level is now tied to legend level. It's an interesting change. I think it cleans up the loot pool, which I think is nice. Backpacks, white backpack removed from loot pool, and you automatically spawn with the white backpack. Once again, just cleaning up the loot pool. White backpacks are so easy to find, and it's nice that you won't have to open a bin with multiples. Maps, pubs, and ranked Broken Moon, E-District, and World's Edge. You know, I still prefer Olympus to be in that Broken Moon rotation, but I prefer Broken Moon over both Stormpoint and oh my god, why am I blanking on the OG map? Kings Canyon. Mixtape, don't care. Ranked, so drop zones are disabled and ranked now. Now it's back to having jump masters jumping out of the drop ship. Ranked ladders, wild card stuff. It's back on Kings Canyon. I liked it better on Olympus. Wildcard respawning. Not going to talk too much about the wildcard stuff. Controller legends can now remotely pick up their deployed tacticals just as they can in other game modes. Bot Royale has evolved. It's now a full BR experience mixing humans and Apex bots. We're not going to talk too much about that. That's not super important, but they redid the bots. Bug fixes. There's not any super important bug to really worry about. Legends, Octane fixed FOV scaling issues with Stim Surge. Stim Surge, sometimes lowering your speed. Fixed a bunch of stuff with Stim Surge. And Valkyrie fixed the ultimate being blocked by a trident and leaving the scan on permanently. Quality of life. Control weapons no longer interrupt shooting, healing, or other actions when a player levels up. Ballistic sling no longer interrupts shooting when the sling weapon is being upgraded or downgraded as part of the ultimate or when leveling up Evo. Settings menu, gameplay menu options now have broken up and reorganized into 5 subcategories. Added additional voice lines when pinging an elite weapon. Respawn beacon icons on the map and minimap will now flash after they've been used by another team. That one's actually really interesting. Engine, improved graphics, device selection when multiple are present on the system. Added user face error message if minimum spec shader level 6.0 is not supported, including a reminder that this is likely due to outdated drivers. And then I'm not really worried about the wishlist stuff. So that's the changes. I think the Fuse changes are very interesting. I think the Catalyst changes are good. Crypto and Life and Pathfinder changes, I don't really care. Bloodhound will make him a little bit better, but I don't think he's going to skyrocket in the meta. I think of the shotguns that were changed, the EVA 8 will likely be the meta, but I will probably still mostly be sticking with the Prowler, the Alternator, which got buffed and never got nerfed back down, picking up the P20s again. Long range meta, it's going to be your favorite AR or LMG, whatever you were using last split of Season 27. So the meta's not really going to shift too much, in my opinion. Maybe Fuse and Catalyst go up in the meta, but other than that, I think the weapon and the legend meta will mostly be the same. But then again, Apex is one of those games where you can mostly use anything, and if your skill level's high enough, you can use literally anything because the game, the differences are very small, right, in the balancing. But that's the patch notes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, especially if you like Apex or COD content or game reviews, because that's what we do here. But thank you again so much for watching. I will see you on E-District, which I wish was at night, World's Edge, and Broken Moon. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.